Let's get salty!
Hey everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and I've waited long enough. I feel like it's time to talk about what cards I think should or will get nerfed or possibly buffed, because, well, I've been hearing a lot of rumblings about possible balance patch this week because, well, typically a week after an expansion, we usually see one really quickly. So I thought we could discuss that. You could give your opinion in the comments below, as well as it's the last day to enter the Golden Bundle giveaway on this video. If you want to go check it out, you like, comment on that video, subscribe to the channel, you'll be entered. I'm going to announce the winner tomorrow. And the reason I have Snow Flipper Penguin up here is I just think it's way too cute, and shouldn't that be nerfed? It's really hard to kill this guy when it's on the board, and maybe if they made him less cute, that would be better. But in all seriousness, I have a list of cards for Wild and Standard that I do expect to possibly get nerfed. Not all of them, but I thought I'd give my predictions and my takes on it. Starting off with Wild, I mean, it's a given. It's just, it has to happen. Kael'thas Sunstrider needs to be nerfed again. It needs to either go back to 7 and 1 cost spell or 6 and 1 cost. Either way, they need to go back to the third spell costing 1. It is destroying the Wild format. It is so dominant, it is so good that it completely warps the format around it, and you still really can't beat it. I'm seeing top Wild players streaming it, playing it, because there's just no other option. It's just completely broken. Blizzard made a mistake here. They should correct it, and I'm expecting them to do that. Otherwise, we're going to have one hell of a rant video, I can tell you that much. Next is Switcheroo. Of course, we've been talking a lot about it in both Standard and Wild. And, well, in Standard, that whole high roll with Deathwing isn't really panning out very well. Like, it's not winning a lot. It's annoying and it's bad. And then you have the Silence Priest deck, which is doing okay. I feel like you probably let it ride in Standard still. However, in Wild, where you have Stone Tusk Boar, you have the Darkness, it is just a detrimental combo that just, you shouldn't get turn 4 lethals. That's just not a thing. So instead of nerfing the card, I would just ban it from Wild and kind of just bite the bullet that way. But if they do address it with some kind of nerf for Standard and Wild, that would be great too. But my prediction at least is that it gets banned from Wild, because you just cannot have that type of interaction exist in the game. That would be it for me for Wild. Just those two changes. That's probably all you would do. Standard, I have a bunch I want to suggest or predict. I don't think this is all going to happen. But Druid, Ramp Druid in particular, has been dominant for the last couple of days, and it's been dominant for the last couple of months. And I feel like it's probably time for Druid to take a hit. If you look across Standard, Wild, Duels, Arena, and Classic, all 5 modes, the best class is Druid right now. And, well, Classic doesn't really have access to this, but pretty much all the other modes, Guff is the big reason for it. And I guess not Arena, but Arena, one of these other cards I'll talk about, is. Guff is just probably way too good. If you take a look at the mulligan win rate in Standard, he's like one of the highest mulligan win rate cards in the entire format, and he's a 5-mana hero card that just gives you armor, draws a card, and ramp that turn. It just creates broken things. I feel like they've built their entire expansions around Guff, so if they do change Guff, I don't expect a major change. I would see it either go to 6 mana, or you would gain an empty mana crystal. I don't think you do both, but I could see one or the other happening to slow it down, because it's just a little too good. And I love the card. I love what it does, at least personally. I don't want to see it die. It kind of sucks that there's like one non-aggro strategy on ladder, but it's this dominant, and it's probably holding back other slower strategies, to be fair, because what beats Guff, right? Like, it's just so good. So maybe that's what they do, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Guff get nerfed. But I also wouldn't be surprised if they do something else instead, which for me, you might argue Miracle Growth. They tend to nerf cards from prior sets first, and I could see Scales of Onyxia going to 8 mana, giving Druid a little less time to recover the board, right? They play Guff and then they go into Scales. Well, you would no longer be able to play Guff and go into Scales, get the board back, and then just win the game immediately after, basically, with Miracle Growth and all of that. I could see Scale of Onyxia going to 8 mana, just slowing that down, similar to what Guardian Animals did during Skullman's Academy. They went from 7 mana Guardian Animals to an 8 mana Guardian Animals, and I could see that being a change as well. I'll mention this, although I don't think there's a chance of it happening. Oracle of the Loon just being after you play a minion for the first time that costs 2 less, just make it a one turn effect. But again, this is really good in aggro Druid, which they really like, and it probably won't be a thing that happens, but I like to see it be a 1 turn effect. But this is one I would be absolutely shocked to see happen. For Warrior, I would love to see Raid the Docks get nerfed. I think it is problematic. I think it is too good. I think for the way that Juggernaut has like basically no bad weapon pools and can get smite reliably, I would nerf it, but they're not going to. I can't see them nerfing it again. They've given it so much support. They want it to be good. So I do think they will nerf Pirate Warrior, but I think it'd be more like Defias Cannoneer going to 4 mana, and maybe they give it a health because they always do that. Like you make it a 4 mana 3/4 or something. I could see that happen where they want to slow down Pirate Warrior without really addressing the core issues, and the deck will continue to be gross. But this is basically the best pirate in the deck, pretty much. If you look at the numbers outside of the 1-drop, because well, it's a 1-drop, the one that discounts your weapon, this is the best one. And they might be like, all right, Pirate Warrior a little too good, we'll hit Defias and basically call it a day. However, I do think there's one other card they might hit. I feel like they could hit Puffer Fist. Again, this is one of the newer pirates that's really way too good, especially in Rogue. They have like a poison combo they can do and clear the whole board. You either make it 4 mana or make it a 3/3, 3 mana 3/3. I wouldn't be surprised to see Puffer Fist, another pirate that gets dialed back a little bit. I would also nerf Mr. Smite. Personally, I think it's just a stupid card. It's a stupid card that gives all their pirates charge. I wish it would just have charge itself, but I don't think they'll nerf it. But I will throw that out there that I would love to see it change. I don't think it's good for the game. I think it's played out, and it's leading to more and more toxic things as we go, especially when you can get it for 1 mana off the Colossal Warrior legendary, or just have it pop out of the Juggernaut. I would love to see it change, but again, I would be very surprised if it does. For me, Swordfish is a card that is just kind of egregious. It's a 3 mana, effectively a 12 damage weapon that also dredges, that also gives a hand buff. And I just think this should be 2 durability. I don't know if it's a big outlier right now. I know Aggro Rogue is like good. It's not amazing in standard. This card is good enough in wild that you run it over Kingsbane, because 12 damage is better than what you could ever do with the Kingsbane. It's just, I think, utterly absurd that this has 3 durability. And I would expect maybe not this patch, but at some point for this to go down to 2 durability. It just does not make sense to me. I feel like there's a small chance that Mech Mage could get nerfed in the patch, but very unlikely. I think it would either be Mecha Shark going to like 2 damage, something like that, or 4 mana, or Seafloor Gateway going to 4 mana, because the win rate on this card is absurd in the mulligan for these decks. But again, Mech Mage is doing well, but not insanely well, so it's something that they could hold back. They want the archetype to do well, right? So I think it promotes unhealthy gameplay patterns, which is why I think it could get nerfed at some point, but probably not quite yet. But I think it is worth mentioning. Lightforged Cariel is another card that I could see getting nerfed, probably again, not right away, but from 7 to 8 mana, slow it down. The thing I would love to see is the immovable object. See it lose a durability every time you attack with it, just so it's not infinite damage if your opponent doesn't have a Viper, that you have to at least select when you're going to swing with it. But again, this is a card that I'm kind of mentioning for the future, because basically you throw Cariel in any Paladin deck and it becomes legit and kind of insane, because she is just so freaking busted. And the last one I'll mention is Kazakhstan. I just want this to say, if you have played 5 dragons this game, craft a custom deck of treasures. Make this card have more of a build around, not that you can just slam it out, not run any other minions. I feel like it's more in the spirit of a hoarding dragon, hoarding pirate, or treasures, that a bunch of dragons come together to put this this whole deck of treasures together, not just Kazakhstan. So if I was to nerf it, which I do think you should nerf this card to have more of a build around, require pirates to be played, and it would be a lot better. And the last thing I'll suggest is I would like to see some buffs for Warlock in particular. All the Abyssal Curse stuff, just, I don't know, it's all understated. It's not doing well. Even Murloc Warlock is not doing fantastic. And of course, to Priest, I don't know what you would buff, but buff Priest in some way that they're not just reliant on complete RNG scams. Give them a legit way to win games that they compete. Like Blackwater Behemoth at 8 mana in Hearthstone these days, I feel like this could be 7 or 6 or something. Like, do something to help Priest out, because right now it's kind of scam or bust for the class. class. So those are my suggestions for nerfs, buffs. Let me know in the comments below what you feel. And yeah, as soon as we find out any news, it could be today, it could be this week, I'll let you know as always. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friend.